Hey guys, Johnny Pagnini here from the Wholesalers Blueprint. Check this out. Today, I'm going to get into the one thing that you absolutely positively must be doing every single day in order for you to get your first wholesale deal. This is a non-negotiable. If you're not doing this one activity, there is zero chance you get a deal. So check this out. Not only am I going to tell you what that one thing is, but I'm going to give you the step-by-step process on how you can do it so you can get more deals faster. Stick around. Okay, so before I get into this, if you are a new investor or a new wholesaler or you're wanting to get in this space and you've been watching YouTube videos, downloading scripts, downloading calculators, but still are not getting anywhere, let me just tell you, I feel you. When I first got into this business, I did the same thing. I was joining mentorships, I hired a VA, I was giving the VA leads, I was knocking on doors, leaving Post-it notes, all these types of things, and I was getting nowhere. I was literally standing in one spot, running and bleeding money on software programs. If that's you, if that sounds familiar, I have something for you and it's free. It is a free training. The second link in the description below is going to get you that free training. And I'm going to show you step by step on how you can get into the wholesale business. No obligation, completely free. Second link in the description down below. Once I realized exactly what it is that I need to focus on, this is what I'm going to share with you today. That's when I started getting consistent lead flow. So what is that one thing? And this should be no surprise. That is writing offers. And you might say, oh my gosh, Johnny, everybody knows that. Well, you would be surprised. When I first got in the business, and a lot of the new investors and wholesalers that I work with, they don't realize that. They're buying software programs and they're knocking on doors and they're calling pre-foreclosures. And the one thing that they are failing to do is actually putting offers in front of people, giving people something to buy. And here's what I mean. Let's pretend like you are you paint houses, okay? And I'm not talking about an Italian house painter, okay? So a little dad joke there for you, but I'm not talking about an Italian house painter. I'm talking about somebody who actually paints houses for a living. And your job is to go and you roll walls, you take the cottage cheese off the ceiling, and you paint baseboards and all that stuff. So what is the one thing in that scenario that you would need to be doing every single day in order to get a job painting houses? Well, you would need to be writing bids. You would need to be bidding out properties. You would need to be going to people's houses, walking the houses, looking at the walls, and then giving quotes. And only if you are giving quotes could you potentially even get a job. So it's really important that you learn how to write letters of intent. So a lot of times you'll hear people say, well, I'm writing a bunch of offers every day. Well, generally speaking, these are not offers on some sort of purchase contract. These are letters of intent that spell out the terms in which a contract would potentially be drawn up. Talks about things like down payment, talks about things like closing period time, inspection periods, these types of things. The more of those that you can send out every single day, the more opportunities you're going to have to potentially close a deal. And so you always need to be starting off with very small goals. I tell everybody, start with just one. Just get one letter of intent out every single day, and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And this is just a numbers game. So if you can get out 5 offers or 5 letters of intent every single day, you're winning, because what happens is those letters of intent, they start to compound, they start to stack, right? So after 30 days, if you say, let's just say you send out 2 a day, that's 60 offers, 60 potential deals that you've put out for a potential deal. Just like in the house painting scenario, if you went out and gave out 60 bids, you'd probably get one person that would say, fine, just hire that guy. I don't even like him, but hire him to come paint my house, right? It's just a numbers game. It's about putting as many of those out as you possibly can. And remember, as wholesalers or real estate investors, we're professional deal finders. So we are looking for a good deal, which means good deals aren't easy to come by, right? You have to find somebody who's willing to sell you the property, a value add property at a discount so you can build in margin for yourself. So stick around. I'm going to get into my step-by-step process on exactly how I do it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to start local. So you want to look for properties that are currently on market. That means they're listed with an agent. You can find them on Zillow, and you're going to call those agents and you're going to start having conversations with them about those properties. Now, there's a couple things that are happening here. First, remember, when you call a property that's on market, you're talking to an agent who's being paid to sell it to you. So this is a much easier conversation conversation to have versus calling somebody who's in a pre-foreclosure situation, especially when you don't know much about real estate, because you're calling somebody who's in a really not great situation. They're behind mortgage payments. They're probably behind car payments, credit card payments, and all this stuff as well. So that conversation does not usually go very smooth, especially for someone who's new and can't answer difficult questions. So the easiest place to start is on market, because you're talking to an agent who is wanting to sell the property. For the most part, of course, you're going to deal with agents who sometimes aren't that fantastic. It's just part of the business. But if you can start in your backyard, even if it's not a great area for investing in real estate, that's going to be the best case. And I'll tell you why. Because if I call an agent and I say, listen, Mr. Agent, I'm calling about this property over on XY, 123 Main Street, and we're having this conversation, this dialogue about that property, what the condition is, the seller, what the situation around the seller is, maybe why it's been on market for an extended period of time, or if they've had any offers, and we're having this casual conversation. Well, if they know that I'm just a couple blocks over, it's like, hey, Mr. Agent, yeah, I'm right over here by the, by the Taco Bell on Main Street. I don't know. Like, I'm really close. There's some familiarity with the area, and that's going to help me create this kind of rapport with the agent because they know that I'm local versus if I were to start across state lines, which you eventually want to do. But if I'm starting local in my backyard, it's going to be a lot easier for me to have these conversations, especially as a new investor, because you can get the marbles out of your mouth, right? You can start rallying through some of the really easy questions. Tell me about the flooring. Tell me about the roof, the HVAC. What is the situation with the windows? Has the property been under contract before? If it has, why did it fall out? Just getting through this flow of questions, because then when you go off market and you're talking to somebody who's in pre-foreclosure, it's going to be a lot easier to kind of just get through those things. Okay. At least that's been my experience. And that's been the experience that I have seen with a lot of the new investors that I work with. So that's the very first thing. You're going to start on market and you're going to be talking to the agent about the current property that is listed. And you're going to explain to the agent the type of investor you are. Okay. So you're going to tell the agent, look, I am an investor who comes in and I buy properties that need a little bit of value add. I can update things and I can either put a renter in there or I can fix it and I can flip it for a profit. Be very transparent about this. I'm coming into this property as an investor. I'm not coming in to buy the property and stay there. Okay. Set the expectation. This is what I do. I work with these type of properties. I'm also somebody who specializes in creative finance. That means if you have somebody or somebody maybe who has a property on market, another agent inside of your brokerage where there is a negative equity situation, I do creative finance, so I can potentially help in those situations as well. So now I'm creating this kind of relationship with the agent, letting them know I'm a buyer. The agents love buyers. Why do they love buyers? Because that's how they get paid. So if you can communicate with them, look, I might not be a player on this property we're currently talking about. Now, certainly I want to give you an offer on this property. I want to give you some letter of intent, some terms on where I would need to be on this property. But here's the thing. If I'm not a player for this particular unit and your seller is not liking my offer, that's okay. Maybe you have an off-market listing, something that's coming up that kind of fits what I'm looking for. Maybe there is an agent inside of your brokerage who has a property that's been on market for 90 days, 120 days, and they can't move it for some sort of reason. Can you let me know what that is? And maybe I can get creative and you can write an offer on that property for me today. So now I'm creating rapport with that agent. So now me and this agent, we have this relationship where we can go make money together. Okay. So we get that information about that property. We let them know exactly what it is that we do. And then we're going to ask them about the property that's on market. We're going to ask them, hey, do you know, is your seller open to any type of creative finance? And usually they'll say, well, no. Right. And so then we ask, well, why are they not open to that? And generally speaking, 90% of the time, they will say, well, what is it? And then we just say, well, it's just basically a way for us to get creative, maybe come in at like a full offer or full asking price. And your seller can net more money and we can get the property with good terms. I just want to see if your seller might be open to it. And if so, what I can do is jump offline. I can put some numbers together and then I can send you the details on where I would need to be. So understand what's happening there. I'm getting information about the property that's currently on market. And then I'm going offline and I'm giving the details about where I would need to be on this property. I've explained to them, I'm an investor. These are the type of properties I look for. I understand that the seller has an asking price. That's not my concern. I'm not concerned with what the seller wants for the property. Although I need to understand that, I'm not concerned with that number. What I'm concerned with is where I need to be in order for me to make money. And if that my number comes out and it doesn't work for the seller, well, that's just where it is, okay? Because if I've calculated my numbers right, there's really no room for me to move up. Why? Why is there no room for me to move up? Because as soon as I move up, I'm moving into my margin, my profit margin. And rule number one in real estate investing, and I say this in probably every video, is we don't lose money on our deals. And rule number two is we don't break rule number one. Okay, so the call starts in our backyard. We're having a conversation. We're setting expectations and letting the agent know exactly what it is that we do. And then we get information, then we jump offline. And then number three, we're sending a letter of intent with the offer. It's not even an offer. It's just the terms, right? Again, it's the terms on where we would need to be. So what I always do, and I know right now everybody loves sub 2 and seller finance, and the reason for that is because interest rates are so high that it kills a lot of cash flow. So if we can acquire a property with debt at a low fixed interest rate, this is going to be awesome. Obviously, the property is going to cash flow a lot better for us. So these are really good buzzwords, and we always need to be presenting creative offers, but we should also always be presenting cash offers. There's no reason to not present a cash offer. If you can buy a property deep enough, you can still wholesale a cash deal quickly. It doesn't need to be creative, okay? So we're going to give them a cash offer, and the way you're going to get to that number is by using what's called a max allowable offer calculator. I have another video that I did that talks about how to calculate a max allowable offer. You can go find it. There's also a link in that video where you can get that particular calculator I use in that video. So that will help you calculate that number. Now, one of the reasons, or one of the things to be aware of, is that when we do a cash deal, a lot of times these properties that we're making cash offers on, they really shouldn't be properties that are like a 8, 9, or 10 out of 10. You need to find a property that's like a 4, 5, 6, maybe a 7 out of 10 to be making these cash offers on, because remember, we need to buy them at a discount, okay? And so somebody who has a perfectly pristine property that's been completely updated, they're not going to sell you the property at a 50% discount. It's not happening, okay? So those might be good potential creative deals, but they're not going to be good potential cash deals. So keep that in mind. Now, kind of back to what I was saying. We've had the conversation with the agent. We've gone offline. We're evaluating the different opportunities. One of those opportunities, 99% of the time, is going to be a cash offer. The second is going to be a creative offer. Now, even if the agent tells me my seller is not interested in doing creative finance, I am going to go online and I'm going to find out details about how much they owe on their mortgage, an estimated interest rate, and all that stuff. And I'm going to put a sub 2 numbers in front of them, or a seller finance number in front of them, regardless, in the letter of intent. So there'll be offer A, which is going to be cash, and offer B, which is going to be some sort of creative offer as well. Okay, and that goes in a PDF letter of intent. And then in the body of the email, what I put, and I call it this my golden email. I know it sounds super cheesy, but that's just what I call it. In the body of the email, I kind of bring it full circle. So I tell the agent, look, the potential offer, or the terms in which the terms of the offer are in the attached PDF. There are a couple different options. Offer A is going to be, a cash offer. Offer B is going to be a seller finance or sub 2. I realize that these may not be the best options for your seller. This is just where I would need to be for what it is that I need to do on this property. It was great chatting with you. If you have any properties that fit situations like this, and this, please keep me in mind as your go-to investor for those type of properties. So now what I've done is I've put out my numbers. I've given a bid, right? I've given a bid on the job, the painter job. I've given the seller something to buy, something to look at, something to digest. The agent can just forward my email because I put it all in writing. If they can't understand seller finance or sub 2, they don't need to try to explain it because they'll butcher it if they don't know it. They can just forward it to the seller and they can read through it, and it outlines all the terms and how we protect the seller in a sub 2 transaction. And then we've now brought on another real estate agent as a referral partner. Okay. And when we have referral partners, here's what's awesome. If you stay connected with these agents and you continue to reach out to them and create these relationships where they can make money and you can make money, they will start sending you deals. So you've got two things happening. Your letters of intent that you're sending out every day, send them. They start stacking. And what happens is eventually when you're following up, They come back around. Hey, Johnny's crazy. Hey, Johnny, you'll get these emails. Hey, Johnny, are you still interested in property X, Y, and Z? Seller is now open to subject to. It's like, oh my gosh, it happens all the time. Okay, so you're going to continue to follow up, and those will continue to pop. Now, a lot of them won't. A lot of them just go in the garbage. It's just the way it is. But in addition to kind of stacking these letters of intent, the other great thing is that you're creating relationships with agents. So I want you to imagine every single day, conservatively, you call 2 agents and send 2 letters of intent. Okay, in 30 days, you will have created 60 agent relationships. Okay, out of 60, do you think that you can maybe get 1 referral partner who's bringing you deals? I have a YouTube video, you can watch it, where I'm actually on the phone with the agent and I'm talking to them about a property, and I'm like, you know what, I don't think this is gonna work for me. This is not a property that, is gonna fit. I had a student of mine bring me the deal. I was trying to close it for them. And I said, this is not a deal. This doesn't work for me. But this is what I do. Do you have any potential upcoming listings or off-market properties that are cash deals that might work for me? And on the call, she texts me an off-market listing. So the point is that, and I'm saying that because you'll get those too if you position it correctly. And if you follow up with these agents and you start stacking your Rolodex full of these referral partners. The goal should be get 1 referral partner every 30 days. That's totally doable, but it's only doable if you're picking up the phone and you're taking action and you're calling the agents and you're making these relationships with them. So this is exactly how I started in this business. I went through all the stuff. I tried all the things, dude. There was one guy inside one of these courses that I'm a member of his mentorships. They said that they would go take Post-it notes and they would put on there, hey, miss you, exclamation point, and their phone number. So not like I miss you, it just said, hey, miss you. And then they were sticking these Post-it notes on people's doors because they knew that they would get calls back from that Post-it note. I don't advise that. I tried it. It was not great. It didn't work out very good for me. Okay, so my point is that I've tried all the things. This by far is the easiest way to get your first wholesale deal under contract. Finding on-market properties, creating relationships with agents, sending multiple letters of intent every single day, relentlessly following up on those, and creating relationship partnerships with realtors. Okay, this is how you're going to win this space. So I hope that you found value in this. If you did, please like, subscribe. If you have questions, throw them down below. Again, second link in the description is going to get you to my free training. Find me on Facebook. Let's squat up and do some deals. Thank you guys for stopping by. God bless.